All right, let's get to the professor who is in town. We got the grades.
Yes, the professor is back. I would put no B+. There's no way. That is the lowest grade I've given this year. Gentlemen, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. All right. This is
you look good though. Those glasses look outstanding.
Thank you. This is a bit of a reality, back down to reality for the Bears. Offensively, D-. And here's the interesting thing. You know, they had 372 yards of total offense, but we were only able to produce 16 points. You know, that means we weren't able to finish drives. Obviously, we gave up a sack and turned the ball over one time. And again, we talked about this too, Hogue, you know, where the takeaways have been able to kind of overshadow what's really been happening, and we continuously shoot ourselves in the foot with 11 penalties.
So, Professor, I got a question for you here.
Yep.
So I was going through the rewatch today, and Zion Eagle on the broadcast yesterday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt.
Yeah. Did a great job as always. The voice it's like just punctuates your day. So DeAndre Swift gets the ball in the third quarter. I wasn't counting carries at that point, but he's like, that's his fifth carry of the game. 3:21 left in the third quarter.
He's hurt though.
So that's what I think.
Yeah, I think he's hurt.
Like it doesn't look like he's healthy.
He's been on the injury report. He was questionable for this game.
Right.
Monungai got the first carry of the game,
which
too.
I didn't notice either until the rewatch. The Monungai was the first guy out there. They started the Monungai. We're all Monungais, but we don't really want the Monungai starting right now. DeAndre Swift had back-to-back 100-yard games. But so, Professor, do you think that they were wrong to diminish the run game to that level? Maybe Monungai should have been getting the ball. That's super late in the game.
Well, if he's not healthy, sometimes you got to save the player from himself, and you have to make a tough decision and say, hey, we're going to go into this thing and say, hey, Monungai, this is going to be your deal. You know, it's going to be your game. Roshan, you're going to back him up, and we're going to feed you, you know, like as if you were Swift, you know, over the last however many weeks. You know, they felt like he was healthy enough that he could go, but obviously by the amount of carries, it showed. Like it was, you know, so I don't know. If you're not going to have Swift in and you know it's going to be Monungai, you know how many carries that we've had over however many weeks that we need to produce to get a commitment to the run game. And if we're not going to do that, then pull Swift out.
Yeah, I mean,
and by the way, though, Swift looked good when he was getting the ball. He still had 4 yards per carry. So it's kind of a confusing situation. Maybe it's load management. Maybe it's a pitch count they had him on.
Well, and just on that drive, they gave his fifth carry came at 3:21. His sixth carry came on the next play. His seventh carry came one play later after that. His eighth carry was after a completion to Rome.
And wasn't that the touchdown drive?
And then they flipped it to him. By the way, on a beautiful screen pass, he took it down to the goal line and they scored. So I mean, I'm not trying to say it's as easy as just give the ball to DeAndre Swift. The offense is going to cook, but it was interesting that it happened that late and they did score, and the amount of success they've had the last 2 weeks. That's all I'm saying.
If you had to guess what percent of the carries DeAndre Swift had yesterday, and I have it here, what would you say it was?
2/3.
I should know this because
I'll save you the time. 49%.
Right,
and that's coming off
the carries.
Of the snaps.
Oh, of the snaps.
Yes.
Oh, the snaps.
Yeah, that's coming off of consecutive 100-yard plus games. I mean, I was a little surprised. He did still get the touchdown. That was the lone touchdown for the Bears.
Yeah, that's a pitch count. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, what do we got for defense?
Defense. Surprise, surprise, fellas. It is going to be an F+.
Ooh, an F+.
I gave it an F+.
Why the plus?
I gave it an F+. One thing they did do well is they kept the Ravens offense under 200 yards. But 177 yards of rushing. We did not take the ball away. They were 40% on third down. And to top it off, fellas, we gave up 30 points. All right? That, and by my standards, by the professor's standards, it garners an F+.
200 is the passing number that you want to hold it under. Is that's why you're
okay. That was good.
Okay.
Yeah, 30 points to Tyler Huntley.
So, tackles is too easy of a way just to break these things down. But did you see how many tackles Tremaine Edmonds had, your guy, yesterday?
I believe it was 3.
3 jumped off the page. Twice in his Bears, he's had one game in his Bears career where he had 2, and he's had one game where he had 1. But this was his third worst as far as just pure getting anyone to the ground. That ain't great.
It's not good. It's a down game. Those games happen. Those games will happen for a linebacker. The key is to find out next week. Next week, does that number go back up, or is he trending that way?
Well, and they did get Montez Sweat had 7 tackles. Sweat hasn't had Sweat didn't have 7 tackles in the game all last season. Mm-hmm. So, and he also got a sack.
He's been trending up the last 3 weeks, I'd say.
I don't know, Lance, how much you just keep your eyes on him, but there was one play yesterday where it's like he's trying to keep containment, but it's just him and the guy that he's trying to beat and the quarterback that he's right in front of him. And I'm sitting there like, take that dude to the ground and go kill Tyler Huntley. I don't know how much anybody else is doing that when you're watching him, but it feels like I see that at least once or twice a game. Well,
if he has 7 tackles, that means he's close to the ball. And that means he's being what we call a playmaker. And early on, I thought that he potentially could have had a fumble. Or a forced fumble. It was really close. That would have been a great start for our defense. I think we would have because I think takeaways, they come in bunches. So if he'd have started that off, that would have knocked down the dominoes.
Okay.
Special team.
Hogue favorite.
Well, special teams. This one I had to have a nice little conversation with Hogue, to clarify what I had a feeling for, and I was being generous. But the reality is D+ special teams. I think it has more to do with the success of the Ravens, than it is what the Bears did. I know Cairo, obviously he had a decent day, but he only has so much leg.
Yep.
He only has so much leg, outside of Duvernay getting the big return. But as far, it wasn't Tory Taylor's best day. We talk about Tory Taylor every week, and Ravens punter was able to get it inside the 10, and not only did he get inside the 10, but they caught the ball. Like that's textbook.
Yep. Yeah, I thought 2 of the bigger plays in the game were the punt the Bears did execute, but then had called back because they couldn't be lined up properly. Because the Ravens would have been pinned back at the 2. Yeah. I don't know the exact numbers on that, but
I got you. It was a 59-yard punt. I think it was at the 1 actually.
Well, they spotted it at the 2, but yeah.
At the time, it was second quarter. Bears trail 10-6.
Yep.
That would have gotten them down at the 2 then.
Yep.
Instead, they get the ball at the 22. They march down the field to kick a field goal. They're up 13-6.
And they took a lot of time off the clock on that drive too. And when you get backed up at the 1 or the 2 yard line, almost always you end up punting. You see very few 99, 98 yard drives. It happens, but usually not. You're just play calling shrinks, your menu changes, and you almost always punt. So I thought that was a massive play in the game because it ended up leading the points for them instead. And then you mentioned it, Briggs, they execute the great punt that backs the Bears up, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. You get backed up, a lot of times it turns into a turnover.
Yeah.
And guess what? For the Bears, it turned into the key interception, one of the biggest plays in the game. So, that's a perfect example when we talk about field position and the punt game mattering so much. I thought those were 2 huge plays in the game.
DeMarco Jackson, that's a rough head hitting the pillow after that. You had limited time to be out there. I didn't line up right. I cost us 22 yards. It ended up in 21 yards. It ended up in a couple of points. By the way, on that drive, too, Nick McLeod, who was one of the Bears that are talking today virtually, Hogue, you might want to know that, had a huge penalty on 3rd down on that drive.
Yeah, the DBs struggled. Can I just send out this message to everybody across the league? I don't care if you're on offense, defense, or special teams. The league is cracking down on how you're lining up. Line up. It's the first thing you do. You get the play called, then you go line up. Yep. Alignment, assignment, technique. Alignment's first. Just line up properly. They're looking for it. The officials on each side, looking down the line, they are begging. The league is telling them, throw your flag. So just please line up properly because the Bears have now been killed in all 3 phases. They had a touchdown wiped out in Washington, which I still don't love this situational call there by the officials, but they're being told to throw the flag, so they're doing their job.
Help each other out.
Line up.
Help each other out. You're looking down. You're a gunner or a corner or whatever, and you're looking down the line. Tell them scoot back, scoot back, scoot back. You can see that they're offsides.
Yeah. So when you're in the locker room and you're going through the tape, and Jonathan Ford is lined up and his head is past the center's butt, does that dude get called out in that room? Like, dude, what the? Or do people just sit there like, just shaking their heads in that moment? Because that's hard to believe. I just don't understand.
If I'm not saying it on the field, I'm not going to say it in the room. Like that's like
what's the point?
We just more than likely we're going to call him Big Dummy. Come on, Big Dummy, don't make that mistake again.
Yeah. Okay. That one was unbelievable.
That was an all-timer.
Yeah.
The ball is right here.
I mean, he's right. Yeah, it's not like he's lined up.
Here's the ball, and I'm lined up here.
He's showing that he's hungry. He wanted to make a play.
He was hungry. He definitely was hungry.
Yeah.
Or a penalty.
Yeah.
Let's get,
all right, we still got coaching.
What do we got coaching?
Listen, in the law of averages, the professor says we got a D-, a F+, a D+. We're going to average that thing out to a D, fellas. And I think for coaching, it's less about the call and more about the execution. We had very poor execution. We continue to have tons of penalties. So that has to be cleaned up. And until it is, I don't see this grade getting any higher.